Okay, let's start. First part is all about the introduction to personality. I will do two major things in this video. I will show you the different sets of personality there are, so what kind of major categories there are, and how you can find in which one you in general fit. Just as you don't like only one ingredient, you will probably not have only one major preference for a personality type. So please, of course, keep in mind that this is not black and white. It's sort of a color spectrum. You can move towards these different personalities. Yeah. Same concept applies for others as well. So the second thing I'm going to teach you is how does this all relate to core values, habits, character traits, and all the mental mesh that you have running out there. So important to realize when we dive into personalities is that it is a mental construct. It's not real, ladies and gentlemen. It does not exist. It only exists in your mind. So this is a good and a bad thing, as you know. It is as it is. So that means that you can reform your personality. So if you don't like your own personality, you can make tweaks. But that's in a different chapter. So let's take a look on the different types of personalities there are. Yeah. Let me start first with a drawing. I had to use this pen, or pen feather of a crow in this case. My daughter plucked it from the street. She made me promise that I used it in the video. So Yuna, ta-da, I'm using it. But to be honest, let's just, for your convenience, switch to a pen. Because it might be tricky to read otherwise. So yeah, what I'm talking about here is the interrelationship between what you call personality, which I would say is sort of like even the outer layer. So this would be personality. And then you have all these different overlapping circles in the middle, which would be your core values, your principles, your strengths, so to say, your skills, etc. It's sort of the mesh. Character traits, don't forget the character traits. Character traits. It's like a big old stew in your head. You can throw in carrots, potatoes, whatever. But the different things you throw in will eventually be a different outer layer, which we call personality. So please, ladies and gentlemen, this means two things. Realize the following, that you are not your personality. Your personality is just a logical outcome of all these things that you mentally acquire. You are more than just your thoughts. So yeah, the same concept, however, also applies to other people. So when you dislike a personality, realize that you are only disliking sort of their mask that they're wearing. So personality is not necessarily somebody's true core. However, if you somehow know how to tie your personality to your authentic being, so keep it close to who you truly feel who you are, you will notice that that's way more powerful. And after those are the personalities that they call have heart, so to say. So if you want to improve your personality, I would stick to keep it simple. And I would say make it more hard, which I mean like authentic. This is also known as the process of deconstruction. So removing layers like peeling an onion out of your personality, or in other words, just getting thoughts out of your head, like with Harry Potter, like you get them out of your head, throw them away, and this is how you unravel yourself and get to your core. Yeah. So that's it about how they relate to each other, so to say, for now. A second remark here is that you can do it two ways. this personality improvement. And I will go into details in a different video. It's important for now that you realize that you can move from outside to in, so to say, but you can also move from in to out. So this is done via habits. And this is often the way I suggest to do in the beginning, because this is easier. By changing some of your habits, you're changing eventually your character. There's a famous quote from Mahatma Gandhi, which is like, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words eventually become your actions, and your actions become your habits, and then your habits become your personalities, your values, and eventually your values become your destiny. I honestly hope that they drop it here in the middle of the screen, otherwise you might have lost me here. But that's how you see that it's not just me keeping this rant, that they are interrelated. So your thoughts, your habits, your character traits, they all eventually become part of your personality. So when you see videos about personalities and when you discover your personalities, know that it is only the outer layer and that everything is happening in the middle. That's keynote 1. Keynote 2 is that you make it stronger if you add a little bit of heart in the mix, which you can do by unpeeling your thoughts, getting them out of your head, and getting to the core, so to say. Yeah? Your personality is therefore not fixed. It's also therefore not real. It's a summation of your thoughts, and people in general identify with their thoughts. So that's like the risk zone here. And that's what I meant. Why not identify more with your core authentic being also in your heart? The self we create, this personality, is a mental construct. Okay, so keep that in mind. And I think there's a famous quote, can't remember who's it from, Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey says, I like this quote, like, okay, when you are in depression, it is a sign of your body and mind that they are sick of the current care, or sort of they are done with the current personality that you play. And he explicitly uses the word play or pretend to be, so to say, because you can change that story. Yeah. How to change, that's a different story altogether. So yeah, seek self-awareness, explore the various states and tendencies that make you distinct. Definitely do that. So this is the recap. Seek self-awareness and explore the different traits, the different ingredients in your mental soup that make you you, and add heart. Yeah. Don't do this. Don't identify with solely your thoughts. So you are more than just your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are not your personality. You're not your core values. Those are all mental beliefs. They help you frame yourself, the story that you tell yourself, but in your very core, you know that there is another level of consciousness. And I think you can feel it lingering. So never forget this. Yourself is a mental construct, and finding the right balance between holding on to this construct and letting go of the construct, deconstructing it, unpeeling the onion, is essential. If you want to grow, you are the only one that holds that key, and you are the only one that can do the unpeeling. So cultivating an open mind, it's a quiet mind where true insights about yourself can emerge. By breaking open your mind, you are allowing your heart to enter, so to say. I want to close this one off with a final remark about how the Greeks viewed the mind to heart ratio. The mind was there to cool off the heart, so to say. And in my opinion, if you feel cold or if you think society feels cold, that might mean that we are relying a bit too much on our mind as the freezer, so to say, and we should add a little bit of heart. Also, if you think you are too emotional, too warm, too passionate, perhaps add a little bit of freezer, add a little bit of mind. So try to find your personal balance and apply that when you think it should be applied, so to say. As with all, balance needs to be kept in the right moment, in the right time, which is now. So yeah, that's pretty much a wrap.